That is true. That's the message we've been conveying through this whole day, and it certainly is nothing but the truth. And either way, I'm excited about this match. I honestly don't know, or don't know what to expect coming from both teams, which can only bring excitement, I guess. Yeah, I guess both of us will probably be genuinely surprised about what we could see, and we could see some talent that maybe has been yet to be discovered.
That's it. I mean, these guys are currently playing in, I believe, the Amateur Overwatch League, the Australian Amateur Overwatch League. So these guys currently, they get competitive experience wherever they can, you know, it's grassroots at its finest, you know, and that's what UA do best, the Unreal Aussies. They foster quite a few games, a fantastic community. If you do get the chance to get along to one of their HOTS or Overwatch or Ladies Nights on Monday, Tuesday, or Friday, respectively. They also do WoW nights. I recommend you do yourself a favor because a great bunch of lads and ladies. They're saying no stream snipe, please. Don't worry, my man. 2-minute delay. That's what we were talking about. But let's get it on, ladies and gents. Game number 2 here of Overwatch. In fact, game number 1. Two different teams rather of Complex Collaboration and UA Fusion.
We're already seeing two very different types of compositions as well. Both these teams are sort of feeling each other out right now, but a little bit of harass, no kills as of yet, but inwards towards that room, just come charging out the hook.
Naked flying high, Jefficles with a double hold. Actually, it will just actually get crippled. So, well done there. That was the mech down as well. Coronet will take down Crumple Spaceman. Dan will get sent packing as well. Great hook coming out there from Blasty. And on Team Red, Complex Collaborations, they're holding firm just for now. The point is in their favor. Jefficles almost gets a taste of his own medicine. And now the Pulse Bomb will clean up Silu on the Zarya, as Naked is just being left completely uncontested up there in the skies. We'll get the D-Mech, we'll get a couple kills for good measure as well. And we've got our Brigitte for the first time today as well, which is interesting because normally, I know Z was saying he doesn't really like playing Overwatch because it's stunlock meta. I think that just might be Brigitte's fault.
Yeah, Brigitte is a hero that a lot of... Yeah, that's fine. You're right, Kit. I'm sorry. I hate her that much that I purposely disrespect her name. So there we go. That's the best excuse I could come up with.
Yes. Well, speaking of Baguetta, she comes in and Yami gets the kill onto Coronet. So that's what she was built for, anti-Tracer basically, and still that wombo combo. Even though they nerfed it a little bit, still very, very monstrous. Especially to a Tracer, the lowest HP hero in the game. At the moment, UA Fusions are quite comfortable. Oh, the hooks from Blasty brings the opponents to him. Gets booped almost down as well. Naka did a great job of building up a barrage here. In fact, gets himself a double kill and a D-Mech, and UA Fusions on the back of some fantastic Pharah play from the man, Naked El Generale of Unreal Aussies. 56% on the point. It's still in their favor. Blasty has got the whole hog as well.
And they just did a fantastic job at healing back for them as well. As soon as the rocket barrage was launched, UA Fusion made sure that Naked was made accountable for all that and did a fantastic job of making sure it was alive.
Moby gets taken down, as does Jefficles, and Blasty forced to use the whole hog in defense. This is not good. Crippled! Literally planted the self-destruct on the beaks of Blasty and Julie there. That was nasty to watch. You knew it was coming, but you couldn't help but turn your head and unsquint one eye just a little bit. Unreal Aussies feeling the wrath, but 82% on the point though. Lots of time to play with as the point is flipped racket.
We're seeing a lot of those combos nowadays, Graviton and Self-Destruct. So, pretty entertaining to see if you do end up getting the big eliminations. And UA looking to recontest on point of Rissa, just sort of sitting there. Surprised not getting punished at the moment. Healer's making sure that it's facilitated, but the Earth Shredder does come out! The hole ends up blocking it.
Big plays again. Great sound barrier coming out there from Colin Ninja on the side of Complex Collaborations. Naka this time, third time, is not the charm, as unfortunately the third barrage of the game falls agonizingly short of picking up some frags. The eliminations is few and far between tonight at the moment for the Unreal Aussies. Once they were in control of the point, they were comfortable, but on the offense, they just seem to be slipping up a little bit.
think on this Orisa ended up doing a very good job at the start of the match. Of course, that double pull off the map did end up doing them a lot of justice, but recontesting is always going to be very difficult, especially up against the right hand. But look, there we go. That's how they ended up getting the point in the first
And another
place.
one! Oh, the hook from Blasty gets Crubble as well, so using the environment to their advantage. Here come UA Fusions. Crippled goes down as well. So does Colin Ninja, and at 99% UA Fusions make it happen, Racket.
I called it. That was the way that they get back onto the point, and look what GF does in a result to try and get them back into it. And look, they're snowballing at 2 kills already. The Transcendence coming out. It's going to be difficult to get back onto the point.
Got it. Times there, Lucio is back with that speed boost. And the self-destruct is actually going to... Oh, Naka did well to avoid that one in the end there. Just going down underneath it in the end. You don't see that too often, but did get the kill onto Moira. Jefficles will lose that supercharger. Blasty straight into a whole hog. Knackered utilizes the barrage. Will take down Crippled's mech. And they get 3 frags on the board. Do UA Fusions eliminations in their favor. Jefficles is picked up by Julie. Well done. Both these teams on 99% here. This is what I'm talking about, Racket. I don't remember who won, but I remember it was close. I'm getting deja vu right now. And the map, the Sanctum of Nepal, goes over to UA Fusion.
Yeah, props to UA Fusion there. That pick with both the Roadhog and the Orisa. It's very difficult to recontest of that comp, but once they did get those combos done, gee, they looked pretty hard to stop. They certainly did. And the reason why it's so sort of difficult to get through of that comp is because, you know, when you have a Reinhardt set to your face, with an Orisa, you don't really have that much time to move, and you don't have the same damage up from up close. So it's difficult to really attempt to push through once you're trying to recontest. But once you do have the point, you have a lot more space. You can pull up the combos a lot more often. That's why I had a little bit of a concern once they were recontesting. They found the picks at the start of the fight to open up the doors for their victory there.
I like it, Racket. Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, the initial engage on the high ground, as is the flavor for this point of Nepal. Coronet, ooh, narrowly avoiding the got hit by the flashbang, but avoided the Brigitte shield bash just in the nick of time, but does finally get taken out by Siu. And he will be sent back to the bench. So Fusion's now with a one-man disadvantage. Oh, hold the phone. Julie does invest the revive. So the Mercy in play, that is something that UA Fusions have over the lads on complex collaborations. But if they keep baiting it out like that, then it's basically even Stevens. And Jefficles learns that the hard way now. No Mercy to revive him. And as a main tank, you want that. You want that revive because you're doing the hard yards for your team. And you might like to think you'd be rewarded somehow just with a revive to get back into the fray. Unfortunately, once it's been committed like that, it's very, very difficult for the rest of your team to support you from there.
Yep, knowing your timing, making sure you can capitalize on that. And it's a little bit interesting as well. Of course, Naked back onto this Pharah. After last performance, I don't exactly blame that Pharah pick. Looks to be a comfort pick, similar to sort of Jewboy in the last match. And see how that ends up panning out. Complex really need to make sure that they negate that. They do have the McCree just in case for that too. Expect a Discorder to be planted on it, on the Pharah, to try and negate that.
Lots of ults coming up here. Expect a kitchen sink situation very, very soon. There we go. Naked throws in the barrage. Jefficles with the Earth Shatter collects 2, but Crubble well timed with the Transcendence there, granting him much needed immunity, and the rest of his team will survive. And the point still in favor of complex collaborations. They just take it to UA Fusions there and just mop them up.
Yeah, fantastic job there. Look at that percentage tick up and up and up. This is becoming very difficult for UA Fusion. Their composition as well, it's going to be heavily reliant on ultimates. They're not really close to that much. The Valkyrie's invested. High Noon in the back as well and manages to catch the Mercy mid-Valkyrie. That was absolutely monumental.
Well, he caught all the support he needed there, did the McCree, keep everyone alive, and I don't think Fusions will be able to get back here. In fact, Coronet is going to play the sneaky Sombra and trigger the overtime, but I think that will be all she wrote, as the Earth Shatter will deny any further approach. They level it up here on Nepal, 1 apiece. Still anybody's game here, but that round, much more convincing play from Complex Collaborations. The way that they were able to control their fights as well as their ult economies. They waited until everybody had their ults up in the bank before they solidly committed to a fight. They got lucky in the sense that they won the first engage. After that, they were just able to basically gatekeep that point just efficiently.
Yeah, well, it's great consolidation, and if we continue to see this pattern, I mean, I guess we're going to find out coming on to this next point. If they can secure that first capture, I mean, they seem pretty dominant in holding it, right, from the previous little point that we saw there, especially with their given composition. A little bit of a pause now, but
Ooh,
probably
with the DC.
probably internet, yeah.
That's all good. We finally got there in the end. Restarting is the call coming out
there we go.
from. So, alas, we are going to have to wait to find out the victor of the first game here. Racket on Nepal.
Yep.
He'll be back very, very shortly. Just want to give a quick shout out to our latest donation, Alexander Chorizo. Alexander Chorizo. Nah, it's Agamemnus from the Unreal Aussies. Well done. Thank you for the $10, my man. That pushes the total up to 475. He says, "Go Jefficles, the heart and soul of Team Fusion. May his legs be stable and his shoulders be broad." I like it. You should write. You should write inspirational haikus, my man. That was touching.
I couldn't agree more. That was amazing. I need this person in my life.
That's it. Just as we wait for people to get back in, ladies and gents, if you do want to, if you're feeling it in you as we get towards the end of the day here, we're just under halfway towards our total. Please hit ! donate, and we'd love any little bit that you can give. Special shout out to everybody who has pitched in today, whether it be through time or with money. Especially you guys out there watching. The message and the awareness is that's invaluable. You can't really put a dollar value on that. And as long as we aim to break that stereotype, I'll be happy, and I think the future of this event looks promising. Friends with Dignity is the charity that we're supporting. If you'd like some information about that, there's a link in the Twitch chat as well. Click that link, and of course, please ! donate. Have in your racket, my man. You're doing your bit for this event. You're actually at a friend's house at the moment. Yep. Casting this because your computer broke, but you were having none of this sit out business. You just wanted to be here, and for that, we are thankful.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I knew I wasn't going to miss this, so I put everything into action, and I was like, okay, I'm going to come to your house to do something. And Daisu from Rocket League was very nice and ended up letting me come over, so thanks to him.
Good lad. Crippled is now back into the fray, and he is going to be playing D.Va as we get to the final stage of Nepal. And Naked being the one to lead the charge, funnily, on Farah into the point. They wonder where Complex Collaboration is, and that's because they've gone for the high ground. They're doing their best Obi-Wan impersonations, and now they decide to pull the trigger. They go diving headfirst into that lava, not hunting to pull Anakin out, but to bury him even further. Blasty with a double kill. Make that a triple kill, just dashing through. Well done. That just keeps the hopes of UA Fusion alive there. That fight was going very one-sided in favor of Complex Collaborations, but then Blasty on the Genji, the one-man army, a quick triple dash kill. Now a D-Mech and a baby D.Va kill. Fusions are not down and out yet.
That's pretty good news of your Fusions as well, because we saw Complex Collab just not let go of the point in the last control. So the fact that UA are getting a little bit more initiative gives them a lot more room to work with, especially with this Farah as well. It's only going to get stronger. See if maybe we're going to see an adaptation with a McCree pick like last time, like Complex Collapse did, but we'll have to see.
And they go again. They pull the trigger. Spaceman down on the Winston. Down goes the bubble, but UA Fusion are quick to displace. Big Earth Shatter collects two. Crippled and Crubble in a lot of trouble, and Jefficles will get the key elimination on the Zenyatta at the end. And the charge on Yami AFK. Was not expecting that at all. It literally came from behind. Push in the back, says the AFL umpire in the end. But Fusion still in control of the point. But once again, just when you think the fight is going their favor, in one team's favor, it's one or two individual efforts from the opposing team that just keeps their hope alive. And right now, Complex Collaborations are looking at flipping this point racket.
Definitely got a lot of percentage from that stall though. And that Genji stall from Blasty, very good, just jumping and darting like that very swift ninja does. I might have to steal some of his robotics so I could jump like that. Yeah, but
I mean,
I
I've
don't
had
think
two knee
it'll happen.
reconstructions. I would love to have a cybernetic knee right now. Like, just sign me up for that Omnic tech right now. Jefficles, though, oh, he gets booped away into the air, almost sent packing, but that nano boost is going to be rendered basically inefficient just because of how much airtime Reinhardt had there. Knackered again, unable to find and replicate the magic. Oh, but hang on! Speaking of magic, Jefficles with a big, full 5-man Earth Shatter and serves up complex collaborations on a plate for the rest of Unreal Aussies to pull out the forks and just tuck in. What a play from Big Daddy Reinhardt Jefficles.
Who says you need a wand to be a magician? You need a hammer. And Jefficles knows how to wield that perfectly. What an absolutely fantastic Earth Shatter. Just sent the rest of complex collabs to the stars. What an amazing Earth Shatter.
Let's see if you can replicate that. We've seen him do that time and time again. If you watch any of the AOL casts or been to any of the UA Overwatch nights, you've seen this man in action. There goes the self-destruct, and the shield was not enough to save Jefficles from that. So just as we talk about, he gets taken down. In comes Knackered, finally gets 1, 2. Jefficles picked back up by Dooley. So that front liner, that's the just rewards we were talking about before. Racket comes back in, picks himself back up, instant effect, lands the flame strike onto Crippled, and at 99% fusions, looks like they're going to take this one. Lucio gets taken down, and that will be GG. Well done, UA Fusion.
Wonderful job there from UA Fusion, showing to be very composed. They still had the Dragon Blade to use in that fight as well, and didn't even need it. That kid with that Rocket Barrage, play of the game too. There we go. Every time Rocket Barrage comes online, expect death, destruction, devastation, the whole lot. The enemy team will be falling down, and there we go. This is a prime example of what can be done if the Q button is pressed on that person's keyboard.
I like the cheeky left click underneath the Ryan shield at the end there as well, just to secure the double kill. Well done to Knackered. Definitely alongside Jefficles, those two my picks of the UA Fusion's lineup, and vote Knackered, and they did well to recognize that. I love a bit of friendly teammates, opposition sportsmanship rather. I like those upvotes at the end there. So just recognizing the impact that Knackered had on that game as we go into map number 2. Racket, we could be in for another long haul here, my friend.
Look, I hope so. Overwatch has been very fun to cast today, and I think, gee, from the looks of this series, it's going to be nothing less, right? It's been amazing, and I think seeing so many Pharah players as well, actually. We had Boy last series and Knackered this series. One of my favorite heroes is Pharah, and with the new Pharah, it's more difficult to pull off, right? So you just can't rely on being AoE and just spamming down a choke. Getting those middies, those shots directly on point is so incredibly important. And when you have someone who's so accurate and can pull off that so consistent, well, you're going to be in for it, considering we've been seeing a lot of Reinhardt as well. And the opposing team in complex collabs, they're running a bunch of bricks. So if you could just kite around in the air, I know in China we're seeing compositions that had 4 DPS. That were quite funny to see. But you're seeing a little bit of a dip into that story where you're just trying to make sure that the Reinhardt compositions can't get a hold of you, and you just want to move around them. Of course, it's not as successful a lot of the time in a perfectly controlled environment. But if you perform well, if you're good enough, sure, you can probably pull it off.
Well, they'll be looking to pull that off here on Busan, the most recent addition to the Overwatch map pool. It's as it's new, Racket. You know, one could argue that teams might not have had enough time to gather experience on this map, but you know, it's one of those questionable ones. You know, like Hanamura, you either love it or you hate it. And I think to the perhaps to the uneducated, to the untrained, the unskilled, this could be a map that causes problems for you.
Yeah, certainly, and it depends on your sort of team philosophy as well. It's if it's a map that just came out, some teams would be like, okay, we don't need to really worry about this yet. We can just put it on, you know, the backboard and do it later, rather than some teams have the opportunity as soon as a map gets put out, they just want to study it intensely, and as a result of that, the maps that were out previously, that gets a little bit weaker. So you prioritize it or you just leave it, and I guess we'll be seeing those philosophies come into play right now to see if both of these teams have practice with their compositions, with the way that they map around this location in Busan.
Let's see what Complex Collaborations can do. They need to pull one back here from UA Fusions. And one thing we learned about the Fusions lads is that once they control that point, it's like trying to knock down the Great Wall of China. You are really going to struggle to displace UA Fusions because Jeffical's like a big stone gargoyle, just far better looking on the front line, is blocking you from getting in. In the end, he goes charging in on the flank attack. Did end up knocking himself prone into the opposition Reinhardt Spaceman Dam, which was more of a clutch save in the end, but Jeffy gets taken down nice and early, and they just decide to bully each other. It was just a sheer battle of damage and numbers there, all up in each other's faces, and in the end, scales are tipped in favor of Complex Collabs, and they flip the point.
We're seeing something sort of reminiscent of what current GOATS compositions are, of course, with that Reinhardt and Brick. So, kind of contenders, maybe they're enjoying this a little bit at the moment. Increasing play rate of Brigade. Both Reinhardts just charge into each other. Graviton Surge Lurch, and it's bleeding blue in that
Whoa!
Yep, there we go, the Fire Strike.
Okay, Spaceman Dan capitalizing off the back of a fantastic Graviton Surge there from Crippled. The sheer speed at which both of the teams, but Complex Collaborations in particular, were able to build up their ult economy there was phenomenal. That just goes to show you how scrappy that first fight was, how much damage and sheer numbers are being pushed out. Now in comes a shatter from Earth. Wow, I was going to shade from Dan, but Jeffical's on the reply, this time hoping to clean him up, but in comes the sound barrier from Lucio. Colin Ninja keeping everybody alive. That was well timed. Now here comes the High Noon. Deadeye is in play. Silyu doesn't actually pick anybody up with that, so a little bit disappointed there. DMEC will actually displace Naked, forcing out the Kaboom, the self-destruct. Gets Yummy AFK, so poor Brigitte and her little miniature shield was unable to survive that one. But Dan's got another Earth Shatter up in the exact same fight, and all of a sudden the kill feed is just red. Go Complex Collaborations.
I'm surprised the concrete is still intact. The amount of Earth Shatters I've seen so far, and it's been so instrumental in how these fights have been going as well, right? When you see an Earth Shatter, an immediate collapse comes through afterwards, and that Lucio speed boost, it's no surprise they're immediately going to be in blood in the water and attempt to try and do it. The Graviton Surge coming out too, Earth Shatter coming out.
Oh, another Graviton Surge again. Oh, no hammer down. I thought he got taken out for dinner there, but unfortunately the Earth Shatter went down, but it was displaced just enough. And here come UA Fusion. Clutch situations is what we're talking about. They're going to finally take down the threat, this Spaceman Dan, and flip this point back in their favor. But the problem with that racket is they committed a lot.
Yeah, exactly. It's difficult when you have to commit a lot and come into this next fight, especially being behind on so much percentage, right, as well. So it's going to be difficult for them to attempt to recuperate, accumulate the ultimate economy, and get back into their favor. So they need to be calm, collected, and pick their spots here.
Oh, Jeffy gets pushed away. A little bit of taste of his own medicine there. And High Noon will collect up Julie. So this is not good for UA Fusion. They lose Moby as well. And 96% on the point in favor of Complex Collaboration. It's looking like Busan, their map of choice, is going to go over into their favor, at least for the first point racket, as overtime is now in play. Graviton Surge going to keep everybody away from it. That'll be round number 1, going over to Complex Collaborations.
Unsung heroes. Both Lucios in this match have been fantastic with their boot timings going up against an opposing Reinhardt Shatter. It's quite difficult to do because our Shatter can come out quite quickly. And when you time it correctly, you can give your Reinhardt space to pretty much guarantee a block on that Earth Shatter because the timing will be delayed since they're going to be pushed up into the air and the hammer casts once it hits the floor. So if you make them hit the floor or you delay the animation with the boop, then things get a lot more easy if you can land that boop. And it was a fantastic opportunity there for both Lucio players, and they both capitalized on it very well. So props to you, Lucio players. I know you don't really get many shout-outs, but you deserve that.
He's not even a real healer. We just keep him here because he's fun. If anybody gets that reference, special shout out to you. But here we go into round number 2 here on Busan in the town center. And already the vertical ground being secured by Complex Collabs. UA Fusion just split up a little bit here. Blasty. Oh, quick double kill. Crumble and Crippled go down. They've opted for the sniper combo here. Naked has pulled out the Ash and gets Colin Ninja. Spaceman Dan charges back in. into the wall, straight into a sleep dart and biotic grenade, and all of a sudden, Bracket, UA Fusions have just had a little bit of fire breathe into them.
Oh, certainly. And they have quite an interesting composition as well. A lot of long range as well. So upon entry, it's going to be quite difficult for complex collabs to really go through without being damaged from their health pool. So they need to make sure to stay behind that Reinhardt shield. Silu, see if they can get any picks of that Widowmaker to make things a lot easier. They're rotating around the side to try and cut off a lot of the line of sight from the opposing Widow and Blasty. Good idea.
Jefficles will see that though, and instead of taking the high ground, oh no, Jeff gets sent all the way to Seoul. First class ticket there on the railway lines, and Colin Ninja with the boot crippled gets Blasty. And the eliminations are coming in thick and fast now for the side of Complex Collaborations. UA Fusion's just getting absolutely pantsed in this fight, even though one could argue it was scrappy. The early picks there was what really secured that engagement for Complex Collaborations.
Yeah, exactly. And that boop once again proving to be a very useful tool. Getting that Reinhardt off the map and trying to continue the snowball. A little bit of aggression coming out from Complex Collabs, and we get harassed with that Widowmaker. Trading back, using walls to make sure that the enemies are now scouted. So look for an engage here. They know where absolutely everything is.
And the Reinhardts all up in each other's faces, but those boops! Wow, the Lucios are really impressing me tonight, and yourself as well, I can see, Racket, but the kill feed once again going completely red in favor of Complex Collaborations. And that team fight, blink and you'll miss it. Everybody just got absolutely deleted.
Yeah, very, very clean wipe there. Of course, Transcendence is going to be a very important ultimate coming into this next fight. If Zen does not get Earth-Shattered, can use that for a counter-engage. A snipe does end up coming very, very early in this fight, so it will delay things for a little bit. Gives more space coming out. Complex want to snowball that lead. They have the numbers advantage. Graviton Surge.
Tried to keep him alive there with as many heals as possible, but damage, once again, just too strong. Currently in favor of Complex Collaborations. Looking very comfortable on their chosen map of Busan, and you can see why they chose it. They really do look at home. And having a look at their ult economy. In fact, UA Fusions have done a good job of building up their own. Now they're forced to invest Coalescence. Jefficles goes in, yet another boot. This time Spaceman Dan will collect 3 up the narrowest aisles with the Earth Shatter. This time it's Jefficles' turn, but where's the team's follow-up? Self-destruct going in. What do we got? Bang! Jefficles does it all himself in the end. It's 4 eliminations, hunting for the 5th. Crippled will be the last to fall here for Complex Collaborations, but Fusions are not down and out yet.
Both Reinhardts ended up getting amazing shatters, but Jefficles ends up getting the better support. That nano boosted really helped with cleaning up after everyone was knocked down to the ground. So great nano there, wonderful awareness there from Coronet. And looks like the swing is back in their favor, no pun intended. But as you can see, the rotation's going back towards the right side of the point. This is what Complex Collabs did at the start to try and re-gauge that position.
They go in once again. Colin Ninja blows the sound barrier. Jefficles gets taken down by Yami and Spaceman Dan. So the Goats combo combining there now. They force UA Fusion back, but the point is still in control of the Unreal Aussies with an 88% and ticking. This is a good stall, if nothing else, Racket. They finally get Julie, and the point will be flipped. In comes Blasty, just for good measure, if more than anything else. Jefficles is there, and he will need to trigger overtime, just because of the way those kills came about in that fight, Racket.
Yeah, Reinhardt not the most effective hero to stall, though, unfortunately, and he will be cleaned up immediately. And the W gets put on the score sheet to Complex Collabs, and as you said, Kit, it was their map pick, and they showed why they picked it.
Yeah, very, very comfortable, very at home, very relaxed. As well as it was so hard to pick just one of these plays to play the game, but Spaceman Dan will be the one to appear on your screen here. Times it very, very well with the Flame Strike Graviton Surge combination, and still has Earth Shatter in the back pocket. Thank you very much for coming, but that levels it up, Racket. 1 apiece. Ooh, Julie, 26% healing, over 10k. Well done there, the standout for UA. Naked didn't really have as much of an impact that game as we saw him have on Nepal. He put the far away this time for Ash. Didn't really work out for him, unfortunately, and I think that little bit of spark is just what UA Fusions were lacking that game.
Yeah, certainly. And those heroes are completely the opposite as well. One's hit scan, one's projectile. Um, Also, you need to consider as well, considering complex collabs really elected to hover towards that brig a lot of the time as well, right?
Mm,
So if you're picking the Farah, you're saying, okay, you have one hero that can't deal with us at all. Let's see if we're gonna we're gonna dare you to try and pick a counter pick to our Farah. So you're gonna have to deal with them. If you're
mm.
comfortable with it, okay, that's cool. But if you're not, you're really gonna get punished for it, right? So it's a pretty drafty situation, honestly, there. And Farah players really do make things a lot more interesting.
Well, they also had the Reinhardt as well, so
Yeah,
that's
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 true.
two heroes that Farah would have been a fantastic counter there for. I don't think there was much going on in terms of hit scan either. Actually, though, there was the Widowmaker that was causing the problems
Yeah.
for the complex collaboration. But you take Widowmaker around, Farah has free reign of the sky. That's Brigitte as well as Reinhardt that are just completely ineffective. So maybe just something to think about. Food for thought. It's always easy to look in hindsight, I suppose. At the end of the day, Racket, as we go into Hanamura for game number 3, leveled up at 1 apiece. We're eking ever close to the closure of the day here for the Gamers Against Violence charity event. Still, the most recent donation was Agamemnus from Unreal Aussies in here supporting his boys and girls here as they take the stage, putting on a show. So yeah, if anybody has still got any pittance left over from Christmas, please type !donate into the chat, and all proceeds will be going to Friends with Dignity, supporting victims of domestic violence. We distance ourselves from the Dev Moth incident. We distance ourselves from games and violence. And Racket, the positivity of games has helped a lot of people, you and I included, and hopefully everybody out there is enjoying themselves today. That's all we ask.
Yeah, and I think the message of all this as well, been saying it this whole day. Oh, also, if you do feel like it, as well, there are plenty of places to talk about this. Don't
Yes.
be in the dark. Of course, that's one thing that I always want to say. You just can't keep bottling up your feelings, and just make sure you express yourself as a person, because that's what people are. Just make sure you're confident with yourself and trying to do this for a good cause and hoping to give a voice to the voiceless. So we really appreciate you people out there, and hopefully this injects a little bit of confidence so you do have the voice to speak up.
That's it. We're all human at the end of the day. And just that little bit of support really can make the difference. So as we get into map number 3, we are going to go over to Hanamura or UA Fusion on blue. They'll be defending first, going up against Complex Collaborations, who really showed that Busan is one of their home turfs to be contended with. What a dominating performance. But before that, it was a little bit closer as UA Fusions dominated on Nepal. So I believe that might have been their map of choice because, in fact, Julie, it was one of their maps, their first map rather. Julie was adamant that they wanted to play Nepal. But now that that one's out of the way, could that be all that they've got in terms of map advantages? Did they get their best one out of the way early, Racket? Entirely possible.
It is certainly entirely possible, and I think this map could tell the tale if that story is true or not. Whether the momentum can carry through, whether the first map was just a one-off, the story will be told.
Indeed. Will it be a happy story? Will it be a sad story? Depends who you support at the end of the day, ladies and gents, but we're all here for fun at the end of it. And we can see just the importance that a May can have on this first point here. Hasn't even needed to use the wall yet, and already you can see that May is in the head of Complex Collaborations, just waiting for her, trying to bait her out to use that ice wall and then pull the trigger to go through, because it is a very long cooldown. But Naked ain't no fool. He knows when to time him off. There it is. He collects 4 off opposed from the backline there, but in fact Crubble can get away, so just mistimed a little bit. Jefficles, unfortunately doesn't get the Earth Shatter down, but did commit to it, so he loses his percentage. And just like that, while I'm complimenting UA Fusions on their defensive capabilities, they just get absolutely dominated. Well done, well played, Complex Collabs.
Yeah, very good job from Complex Collabs, really utilizing that speed boost, and they caught UA Fusion off guard. They just sped through past the wall, only ended up getting only 2 members, I believe, weren't able to access through, but ended up getting through afterwards, and just really putting the May in a difficult situation. That kid still has a lot of ult percentage though. Maybe we can see a good Blizzard.
Oh, the May May Reinhardt charge combo. We've seen that work countless times. That's an old one. That's a vintage trick. And Julie gets the kill there in the end. In comes the Deadeye. But have a look at the wall. Well done there, May. Well done by Naked just to completely deny any value that the Deadeye would have had and saved his team from certain elimination. So well done. But 6 minutes is a lot of time to defend this point for Racket.
Certainly is. And good thing is they didn't have to invest that much into that fight. So Fusion, they're very happy. They have prime ults to be used into this next fight. Of course, Graviton and that Earth Shatter, France, very powerful ultimates to use, and the wall could be very useful. Once again, they get the very first pick.
Big plays there, just sectioning Rubble off from the rest of his team, and when he does finally knock down the door, he gets thrown out. It's like finally getting let into the club after waiting for like 3 hours, and then the bouncer's like, "No, you're not wearing the right shoes." Get thrown out as soon as you walk through the door. That's what Crubble was experiencing there, but for now, UA Fusions hold firm. 5 minutes 25 seconds left on the clock. That's still at least. Oh, I'm looking at my hands. At least 2 hands worth of pushes in there, Racket. That's a unit of measurement, right?
Yeah, I guess that works.
Yeah,
it works.
2 hands worth. Are we gonna go for a boost here? Is this what's happening? No, they're going for the Symmetra play.
Interesting.
But they fluffed it.
Well, they do have the high noon there.
At the moment, UA are going, what the hell is happening here? They spotted absolutely no one coming through main or going through the top left. And the Symmetra play came in. It was balked. The teleporter fell off the edge in the end there, and that just allowed ults to build up. Crubble comes in with a well-timed Transcendence, and that is 10k, 300 IQ heals coming out there from the man on Zenyatta. Jeffricles finally gets taken down, and the Discord Orb had a very big part to play in that. Spawn is in favor of UA Fusion. Colin Ninja taking a lot of damage. Vegeta is in. We'll get the shield bash off, securing the kill. Spaceman Dan, late to the party, eats a biotic grenade, and that is not good if you're a Reinhardt. Symmetra's got a couple turrets down. Moby, though, is just going to use those to soak up some shield onto the particle barrier. Jeffricles rejoins the party and sends Yami back to...
And look at where Blasty is in this fight. Ended up getting May boosted towards the high ground, and has been doing an absolute class, a masterclass on that McCree so far. Accumulated, or is going to accumulate another high noon for this next fight as well. And with a lack of mobility, well now actually with the team composition change, it's going to be a lot easier to dive on that McCree on the top ground. So good adaptation here from Complex Labs.
Yeah, but they haven't really turned their attention to him at all, Racket. Yes, they've got the Diva in there, but they're just not really letting him go, and there it is. Silyu, more damage than a Pulse Bomber. Point blank fan the hammer. Bang, bang, bang! He gets Yami as well. Almost took Zenyatta down. Polar Ninja falling. Crubble eating that small health back like his health depended on it, but does get taken down. Again, Blasty, absolutely no pressure, Racket, and that is what is costing Complex Collaborations here. Now Blasty is just going to switch it up a little bit, get into the heads of Complex Collabs, because he is causing them all kinds of problems.
Yeah, been an absolute menace on that hero as well. And Earth Shatter is available. Of course, it is going to be difficult to get a huge shatter considering the mobility of the opposition. If Complex Collabs can get a good setup with this dive, they can try to tear apart the very tanky static composition of Fusion. Can they find their marks though? Can they find their spots? They're looking for it. They have activated the Brigade out. They're right onto point now.
So Blasty is going to be vulnerable to pressure here if he doesn't reposition himself. Does that smartly. Colin Ninja gets taken down. There it is. Fan the hammer. Too strong for Complex Collaborations. Lucio Yami getting pressured on the backline as well. There it is. Blasty will secure that one. Here comes the Deadeye Spaceman. And oh, well done there by Crippled. To soak that up with the defensive matrix. Julie gets the kill in the end there on to Crubble. The support now down for UA Fusions as well. Blasty's going to remove Silyu from the equation. Tries. Doesn't quite do that. Naked comes out on the Junkrat, who has wizened up and switched off May here on the second point. Junkrat much more better at pumping out the damage. Colin Ninja about to get taken down here if he's not careful, but in comes the Primal Raging Winston. Push away Blasty. So for now, UA Fusions hold yet again. Just under 2 minutes to play with.
One tick. I'll put up there on the side of Complex Collab. So still 2 more to go. It's going to be a lot of work. Ended up getting a few picks of that Widowmaker. It's very difficult to try and maintain sort of hold on this point if you're the attacking squad. Of course, that's the issue 2CP presents itself with, right? You need to get those kills in quick succession, otherwise the stores are going to come out.
They go again. They try and engage. They pull the trigger, and the self-destruct goes up as well. Too high in the end there. Doesn't actually collect anybody. Transcendence will come out. Keeps everyone alive. The side of complex collaboration. That's a riptire right here from Naked. It gets crippled while in baby form. So well done there. And have a look at Blasty. He's got himself another Deadeye. There it is. He goes bang. He gets both the supports. Trouble and Colin Ninja getting taken down. And the GOAT's composition is not working at all for complex collaborations. The triple tank, triple support, just not getting it done, Racket.
Goats are being herded like shepherds at the moment. Being dominated, the McCree making magic. The Junkrat with that Riptire being pretty useful as well. The ultimate will provide a lot of armor there coming out with the Brig. Will it be enough? It's been very difficult for them to come. They've got the second tick though.
Yeah, but no pressure on Blasty yet again, even though Spaceman Dan throws out the Earth Shatter. Does collect Julie, so Brigitte down. Blasty so close to yet another Deadeye. 90%, one more shot will secure it. Hez needs to reload. There it is, but there's no time left. Unfortunately, the rest of UA Fusions were unable to survive the onslaught, and well done. Complex collaborations, they get themselves a full cap on Hanamura. Good round is the call.
And brute force, that is what Goats... That's the middle name of Goats, right? Once you do get onto the point, once you force the enemy to come to you, it's very difficult to lose that fight. As you saw, every single fight that came in through the Brig had that ultimate up. You looking at a tanky composition that stacks multiplicity multiplicitly with the armor. I cannot speak English.
I don't even know if my word was right either. I just threw that out
we'll
there.
hang with it for now. I'm sure Twitch chat will fix it up. Thank you for being with us, by the way, lads. It's getting a little bit hot.
Oh, it's warm.
Yeah, well, there you go. Welcome to Australia in summer. So,
you know, it's been a good Christmas. It's
exactly.
Damn warm, damn sticky on TV. Doesn't matter what time of the year it is, no matter what it's for. This time it's for Friends with Dignity, charity aimed at helping victims of domestic violence, those who might have been affected or displaced. Because we as gamers, often you see a line drawn in the media between games and violence. It often comes waves. We know as gamers that that's not the case. We want to distance ourselves from that and hopefully show to the world that, hey, games have a positive effect on people. Games and violence do not go together, and these teams are putting on a display for everybody today. Please, exclamation mark, donate if you have it in you. We just need to I want to at least hit halfway. We're $25 off halfway, and if we get that, I'll be more than impressed considering the short notice that this was organised. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. Let's see what the UA Fusions lads can do on attack here on Hanamura. They chose this map, so this is their home turf, but Spaceman down with a quick double kill. Colin Ninja getting the DMAC off to help assist that along. Racket. It's looking pretty good here for defense on at least the first push for complex collaboration.
Certainly is. Let's see if they can continue to snowball. Yes, and the members continue to be quite aggressive. Brig, like, maybe being a little bit too aggressive. As a result, Winston's going to come in and look for the kill, but managed to retreat successfully. Complex Collabs going back onto the point. This is a little bit of a scurry now. Could be caught off guard.
They go in. They force the ice block out of Siu on the Mei. They managed to get the freeze onto Diva and a DMEC to boot. Trouble securing that. Now the rally will come across here from Brigitte. Yami AFK pushing everybody back, and Jefficles really had nowhere to go there. He's actually pulled out the Winston, so off Reinhardt. They're running this with Diva Winston, and I think that just might be a little bit of an issue here at the moment. They could probably benefit more from the Zarya at this point in time, but the good news is that Naked is back on that Farah.
Yep, and Ailu is on that Mei. With the Mei buff, so it's a little bit easier to deal with Farah in the sky. Of course, the no bullet drop makes the scaling a lot easier to take down, but you have to be a pretty sharp shot to consistently land those to make it a threat against Farah, though. So see how that ends up panning out. Of course, Barrage is available. Both teams contesting really close to the choke. Winston dives in further, trying to make that space.
Oh, there we go. The ults are flying thick and fast here on Hanamura, ladies and gentlemen. Blasty will get one, but there's a 2k on the board here for Complex Collaborations. They take both of the supports down and they get Blasty to boot. So once again, UA Fusion just struggling a little bit as it took a game or so, Racket, but Complex Collaborations appear to have found their footing. Naked tries to pop off with one of those trademark barrages. Unfortunately, only gets 2 in the end. And, well, still anybody's spawn point this first point, because it is quite long for the defending team to get back. That, still you, gets removed. Ouch.
Well, that's unfortunate. That could be a little bit of trouble coming in for this next fight, considering Blizzard was available, but we'll see if it's instrumental to their loss.
We'll just have to wait and see. Crubble gets the takedown onto Blasty, and as such, builds up Transcendence. So builds that up. Crippled, unable to knock out Baby Diva before she gets back into the mech. Solid Ninja, though, does exactly that to Naked. Now, 2 on the board here for Complex Collaborations. Make it 3. They hold firm, and I feel as though UA Fusions would be disappointed with themselves that they couldn't capitalize on that fight there. Racket, they had the advantage. Now they force out the ults. Plenty here from Complex Collabs, but I feel as though they wanted a little bit more out of themselves after that.
Well, Silo was just simply baiting them. Yeah, who needs 6 members to defend the very first point of Hanamura? Well, that's definitely a statement there. Didn't really need to use the Blizzard there, admittedly, there too, but they're quite comfortable with themselves on this first point, and geez, they've been durable. Let's see if they can continue to first point hold them.
Crippled is a ballsy player. He's trying to land right clicks from Zarya onto Farah mid-air, and I admire the courage. Don't really know about the execution, though. Coronet gets taken down by Spaceman Dan, and that is a support down for Unreal Aussies. They're going to struggle. Crippled has got a Graviton Surge as well. Speaking of that, there it is. Big plays from Naked coming across, but unfortunately it wasn't his Graviton Surge. That's, well, I was going to say a little bit embarrassing, but he got a couple kills in the end there, so I suppose it wasn't all bad. I mean, you hear Angry Russian and you just right-click R, you just click R straight away. Complex Collaborations, though, they hold Hanamura, and they take it to a 2-1 in this best-of-5 series.
That was a very fun map to see. I miss seeing Mei in matches, actually. A hero that I really do enjoy seeing in competitive play, and I think, yeah, another Reinhardt play of the game. We've seen a few of them today, and understandably, considering pretty high play rate, and we've seen wonderful Reinhardt players too. The amount of fantastic Earth Shatters we've seen and the synergy between the Mei Wars and the Reinhardt, it's been very fun to watch. And I really miss watching that classic charge war combo.
Well, yeah, this game is just filled with quality Reinhardts. I mean, we saw it in the professional teams that played before the contenders teams. Us, a wonderful Reinhardt in his own right. Here, Jeff, known at least at the grassroots level for his Reinhardt play, and Spaceman Dan as well. You just really can't fault them. I mean, their off shatters have been because the Lucios have just been on point with their boops. So you really have to credit not only the tank play, but also the support play. I mean, often you'd see maybe 1 or 2 good boops a game that displace a Reinhardt, but to keep yourself within striking distance of a Reinhardt, to be able to land a boop every single time, almost every single time, that the Earth Shatter's about to go down, that's something special. You don't see that in your average Overwatch Lucio.
That's so true. And he is a hero that does get misrepresented in a lot of ways. People think, oh, if you play Lucio, you're a bot. But certainly in new compositions with GOATs and even these type of comps, he has been finding a way to play the most optimal level. And if you look at it from a micro level, seeing a good Lucio from a bad Lucio, well, it could be the difference between you winning and losing a fight. The speed boost we saw on Hanamura, one of the examples as well that we've seen in this match, darting past the Mei wall and ended up catching the opposing Mei off guard there. So it's such a instrumental hero, literally as well, and making sure that these compositions function and get through, and the speed boost can really accelerate things.
Yeah, I mean, Lucio, while lacking, some would argue, in the heals department, he definitely makes up for it in utility. And that's exactly what you're talking about with those speed boosts, with those sound barriers in a situation. You know, a good sound barrier can rival that of a good transcendence. You know, some would argue one way or the other. Personally, I'm a transcendence man, but you know what? Speed boost Lucio cannot be understated whatsoever.
Indeed, and looking back at the sort of defaults that UA Fusion have been leaning towards, you're seeing Naked back on that far. It's an alright map to play it on as well. Defense is a little bit more tricky to deal with. You usually see Farah coming out on the attack because a lot of people do elect to run that Widowmaker on offense as well on King's Road just because of the accessibility on that high ground and the scouting. But luckily enough, that isn't being drafted for the squad of Complex Collabs, but they do have a McCree.
They do. Naked is taken to the skies here, and you mentioned that are a little bit more difficult to play on defense for King's Row, but first point is probably where you'd be able to get away with that most. After you get into the sort of snake and point 2, and then the foundry point 3, you're really going to struggle as the eliminations come out as Yami and Jefficles just run into each other there, knock each other prone. It is Jeffy to come out on top in the end, and it looks as though for now Unreal Aussies, they're going to hold here. 3 minutes, 20 seconds left on the clock. That was just the first push that Complex Collaborations had. But you know what? If you're an Unreal Aussies fan, that's what you want. You want to see your team be rock solid in defense. Great positioning from Jefficles as well as Moby. So the front liners.
And look at that. Ilu with the Widowmaker. Already electing to draft that jump shot, looking for it. Ends up making the miss, but providing pressure nonetheless, but Naked! Whoa! Fantastic shots coming out. The rocket barrage. Do anything that he can do.
Oh, this man is putting on a masterclass here. I know our producer Chris is an avid Farah player, and not only is he pushing buttons, he is taking mad notes right now because Naked is on point. That was a triple barrage as well as an extra frag as well. And now, even though he doesn't have the ult to play with, his Pocket Mercy does, as does Blasty with the Dragon Strike on Hanzo, Coronet with a Nano Boost. Meanwhile, very little. Let's just say that. They've only just got the rally on the side of Complex Collaborations. They're about to have an Earth Shatter as well. Spaceman Dan, I'll tell you what, it's in the right hands, Racket. He's a very good Reinhardt.
If he can work his magic. Dragon Strike's going to make it a lot more difficult to engage out though. This team is all and split. Very difficult there for Kid Fox, and as you can see, they can't really get a grasp. Did have the Reinhardt Earth Shatter available, but they just couldn't group up and try to maintain possession of that point. And being kited around, UA Fusion do a good job at making sure that they maintain that advantage.
You ever been to Bunnings and got a snag in the bread, and they always put it on the angle? That's exactly what Hanzo did with his Dragon Strike there across the point. It split everybody down the middle, on the side. They were the bread. On the side, Complex Collaborations, there was nothing they could do. Naked again lands another one of those barrages, and like you said, they were split. And poor Spaceman Dan really had no support, and they could have staggered him for a little bit longer should they have chosen to, but in the end, they chose to secure the kill. 1 minute and 10 seconds left, ticking down on the clock, and Fusion's looking very, very strong here in defense. One, maybe two more good pushes left in the bank for Complex Collaborations, but they need to go now. They're just doing a good job of building their ults up. This could be the moment.
And if they're not successful with this could really spell defeat. So this push is so incredibly important. Will they elect to use their ults? They probably would. Yeah, there we go.
Nice counter shatter from Jefficles, but unfortunately his back was turned. Hanzo again with another one of those bread splitting Dragon Strikes. Unfortunately, not really much damage to be done because Transcendence was in play from Crubble on the Zenyatta. Crippled gets Coronet and Blasty goes down, and just like an open book Racket, you read it. The Nano Boost now comes out of the Jefficles, but this one's going to go over comfortably in favor of Complex Collaborations. They just pull out the mop and clean everybody up. That will be the point with 17 seconds left to go. We're not down and out yet. King's Row, it's one of those funny ones, isn't it? Can always go down to the wire, but one team fight is all it takes.
Certainly, and that was the time to do it. They had all the resources in the world, but if they didn't get that, I'm sure they would have been very disappointed with themselves. But they rise up to the occasion when they needed it the most. They took it and ran away with it. Let's see if they can transition the snowball onto the second point. and maybe onto the third. They really need to snowball their ultimate economy. Reinhardt is close with that Earth Shatter, and it's so strong on this second point.
So 2 minutes left, just over 2 minutes left on the clock. Jefficles looking for a shatter, but at the moment he's playing those mind games with Spaceman Dan. Oh, Dan, that was a clutch charge in the end there, and unfortunately for Jefficles, gets taken down before he can land in the shatter, committing the charge, but Naked up on high again. 1-2, searching for a third, cannot find it. Jefficles gets revived. Well done from Julie, but now that's down. Racket, you wouldn't mind that as your tank. We've said it time and time again today. That's the reward for getting your job done, and well done there. But now Graviton Surge comes out. Pitchwood goes rather deep, but Dan does also that and charges the opposing team into the wall. In the end, it was Moby who was the unfortunate recipient of the charge stick. With 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock, point 2 looks comfortably in favour so far of Complex Collab.
Yeah, what a turnaround from Complex Collab. They look a lot more in control at the moment. I don't know what Julie is doing currently on this Mercy. Doing a flank, perhaps? Or looking to maybe contest with Valkyrie. There we go.
There we go. Coronet gets taken down by Spaceman Dan's well-timed Earth Shatter. Blasty with Bob into play now. Whoa, Ash has been picked, come out from underneath us there, but Spaceman Dan too deep on the backline gets Jefficles and said Ash. Now, speaking of barrages, this time it's Silyu comes out, gets knackered, gives him a taste of his own medicine, and Julian. Have a look at how deep Spaceman Dan is here. He does not give two hoots at all. He is just emoting in the face of his opponents here. 2 minutes left on the clock. Well done here. Complex Collaborations looking to clutch this one out.
Looking like a completely different team now. Complex Collabs, they're certainly snowballing the lead that they just accumulated off that first point. See if they can try to take the map here. If they do, it'd be an absolute miracle. But it is very in the realm of possibility, considering what they just did right there. The picks are coming out too.
Spaceman down on the front line, managed to take down Jefficles, and without that Reinhardt shield, he was able to throw down his Earth Shatter, and that will be GG. Naka gets one, but it's not going to be enough. Team wipe at the end there, Spaceman Dan. That was off his back. He took down Jefficles on the front line without the Rhine shield, landed the Earth Shatter, collected 3, and allowed Complex Collaborations to just basically knock down the damn walls. Oofted is a good call. That's a good way to put it. You just got oofted on the final point of King's Row.
Oh, that was amazing to watch, considering how the first hold looked so great, and the fact that that last fight, maybe it just turned the heads of UA Fusion, and after that, they just couldn't get back into the same rhythm. And on the other side of the table, though, Complex Collabs, they had pretty good ultimate economy. They were setting things up, and they were making sure to be patient and considerate of what they wanted to do. And they were performing when it needed to happen. Clutch plays can bring you victories, and they did that, well, fight after fight consistently. It was amazing that they managed to get the full map there. I'm really proud of them.
I thought that we might have extended this one out there with UA Fusions just a little bit, but we could actually see the end of the day's play right here, right now, Racket. So let's see. We can only just wait with bated breath as UA Fusions now are forced to attack against the opposition Complex Collaborations here, who have 1 minute and 30 seconds left in their time bank. And this is what I love about hybrid maps, is the overtime really does come into play, you know, when it comes to extra rounds, so to speak. It really can just change things up a little bit and add just so much more hype to the situation when you've only got a minute to keep pushing the cart. Imagine the C9 calls coming out.
That's what makes Overwatch so great. I'll tell you what I love, kid. I love UA Fusion's composition here. They have so much long range, and into the opposite composition, they really lack that. If they can just kite around and try to gain a vantage point onto this first point here, it's going to be so difficult to contest.
It's going to be hard for Blasty to find a pick, though, because his shields are plenty. As I said, that he lands a couple shots, 20% up on the infra site. Really hoping for a little bit more. Spaceman Dan gets the kill in the opposing Reinhardt. Jefficles Naked is extremely overextended at the moment. Needs to be careful because Julie just committed the revive there on to said tank. Now Naked has another one of those barrages up. He breaks the shield on Spaceman Dan but gets taken down. Oh, not before he got him though. So without their fearless leader main tank, or one of their fearless leaders, I believe Trouble is the captain. But without that Reinhardt, you are going to struggle a little bit. Jefficles with a double frag. Coronet in there as well, and here come UA Fusion's Racket. comfortably taking that first point there.
It was pretty good from them, and it was a perfect composition for them to try and go against the opposition of complex collabs. Not that much range, but it's going to get a little bit difficult coming onto the second phase of both of that Farah and Widowmaker, but it doesn't need to be difficult if you can just eliminate one of the enemies anyway. Try to even the odds in that department. And of course, with that Earth Shatter, the Graviton Surge actually on the side of Complex Collabs, if you want to use it, you want to use it early so you can try to accumulate again, especially in the street phase. It's going to be likely you're going to rack up a lot of kills.
I want to watch Slew, the man on Widowmaker. He's hunting for Naked. He's had a couple jump shots that are missed. Oh, the flick narrowly missing again. Naked is just flirting with danger here. Every time he peeks around that corner, Slew is just waiting with one target in mind. Oh, big shatter from Jefficles, collects Color Ninja and Slew, but no follow-up. Blasty gets down and crippled, so no front line now on the side of Complex Collaborations. They've got their supports though. In fact, they're triple supports, so their survivability is there. Their sustainability, perhaps not so much. Julie gets picked mid-air, and Slew, just as he did that, gets removed, the recipient of a charge from Jefficles. Now in comes the sound barrier from both of the Lucios. Trouble, Moby, the ladder to get one out. Slew actually is switching it up here and is pulling out the Ash, so keep one of your eyes on that one. Spaceman Dan taking down Jefficles, not going down without a fight here. Complex Collaborations. Yami gets a double. Naked again with the barrage. This man has been practicing, and that is reflecting in his play right now. In goes Ash with the dynamite, which was actually booped back there, believe it or not. Now Spaceman Dan taking a lot of damage on the front line, does have slight support. Slew just gets away, and I think Unreal Aussies be more than happy to just take the space that has been gifted.
And they certainly are. They really are taking that space. And once you have so much space with this composition, it's difficult to try and... Oh, wow. Oh, Silo ends up winning the duel against Blasty on that Ash. Must have been a fantastic shot. Silo was playing Widowmaker previously in this series and backing the cards onto that Ash. Graviton Surge coming out, though. This is most likely going to be a wipe, but follow-up. Not instant, so very well an even fight.
Well, Slew just emptied a whole clip of ammo there and didn't hit one, so unfortunately he had nothing to shoot the dynamite with, didn't have much impact in that fight. Regardless, his team didn't need him because the Complex Collaborations lads were just way too strong there on the front line, and they did it essentially with 5 there. So here's where Unreal Aussies really need to be careful because they need these picks. Backline could cause them problems. Should Slew find those targets, find those hits, Ash can deal tremendous amounts of damage. Naked now taking a lot of damage. That's what I'm talking about. Picks him out of mid-air. That's what Ash is designed for. Now Blasty gets removed. So here they come. 3 minutes and 55 seconds left on the clock. Can Complex Collaborations do what Unreal Aussies did to them and hold for a good 5 minutes?
Definitely is possible considering this performance with that Ash so far. It's amazing how much they've been able to do it considering they only just swapped to it. It seems like an instant fix. They do have Bob for next fight as well, so... And, oh, Nano Boost was just used. I was going to say, really wanted to see a Nano Bob.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that today, unfortunately, but...
Not today. Has been seen, but not today. Hopefully we can get that on stream, and maybe that just might inspire a few people in the audience to get some donations across. There we go. Bob comes out, doing a lot of damage now. Graviton Surge flies here on the side of UA Fusion's Great Particle Barrier, keeping Naked alive while the Barrage Rockets did work. Bob will eventually fall, so it did little bit dirty the hands of UA Fusions here. It's 3 minutes left on, or just under 3 minutes left on the clock here. Blasty on the flank play. This is where the man is nasty. We know what his McCree can do. He left unchecked. A triple kill! Oh, Slew, Crubble, and Yami get taken down. So Fusions, it's all up to their stagger heroes at the moment. Diva getting it done. Wince is in there as well. Could their clutch play just be a little bit better than Fusions here? The wall comes out from Slew. May has been utilized, and this is where it just switches up in the desperation stages a little bit. Racket as Spaceman Dan uses the Primal Rage to take care of Blasty.
Certainly needed to invest that to take care of Blasty. Blasty is so sharp on that McCree.
Yeah.
You can see the fights continue with Snowball and the Winston. What a fantastic job at trying to make sure no one escapes under their noses.
Oh, Slew getting it done. May just freezing everybody there, using the walls to cut everybody off.
Slew you later.
Yo, I like what you did there. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Let's see if what Slew can do. These walls. I mean, we can see him positioning up very, very smartly now. Get baited, Jefficles. This could be another frag here. Particle barrier comes out from Zarya. Slew's the one that's going to get baited. No! It's just a bait on bait here. It's baitception here in the Foundry stages as the Ice Block nullified the charge. Yami with a double Dragon Blade. Jefficles finally goes down. And for now, 1 minute and 30 seconds. This will put UA Fusions in a time bank deficit here. But it's not down and out yet. All they need to do is capture the point.
It is neck and neck. Shout out to Slayu for that absolutely wonderful ice spike. The timing against that charge was fantastic. Can this bomb get anything? Oh, self-destruct just misses, but it forces the enemy team to scatter. Once again, the split factor up against the Reinhardt composition is so important.
Oh, the Earthshot didn't collect anybody there. High Noon coming out now. Blasty doesn't collect anybody. The Maywall at the feet of Slew was absolutely divine. 1 minute, just under 1 minute left on the clock here. 3-4 frags on the side. Make that a full team takedown for the complex collaborations, lads. UA Fusions, maybe one more good push in them. The thing that they have in their favor is that this point is very, very close to spawn. So they can probably throw maybe 2 more attacks at it.
Certainly can. See if they can use these opportunities to their advantage.
On the wall, there's the Blizzard coming out, and oh well, the charge actually sticks there for Jefficles, but because that Blizzard came out, the team were unable to follow him up.
Nanoblade.
And Nanoblade now coming at it from Yami, gets Moby. So that is very, very smart play. Naked is flying around, does have a barrage to play with, but he's been biotic grenaded, and Slew with the headshot on the right click. This could be GG. And not only for the game, but for the series, ladies and gentlemen. UA Fusions need to trigger overtime. In comes Moby, speed boosting on the Lucio. He's going to get there, but he will fall. So they're going to do it with not only a 1, but a 2-man disadvantage. Coronet will fall, and now they just line up like 10 pins. And complex collaboration is the bowling ball that knocks them down. They take the series 3-1 here in the Gamers Against Violence charity stream. What a day of not only Overwatch, but sheer esports on display today, Racket.
Oh yeah, this has been a wonderful day. I think everyone participating in this, I think it would be very happy how things went. And hopefully you, the community, has enjoyed it as well. And I certainly enjoyed casting Overwatch again, especially for a good cause. And these teams willing to put their hand up, that's just a massive say for absolutely everyone involved that they wanted to be here.